I start driving. There we go. So we're recording. So basically, we need to find each other on track. Maybe the start line's a good place to do that. And we basically need to just go and do a series of short races. Maybe like, 2 or 3 laps. And each time, if one of us gets ahead, if I was to like pull a gap, I'll just stop or slow down, because I want us to be in a combative situation where you're under pressure to do one of two things, whether that's get past or keep me behind. That's kind of what I'd like us to do, and in a way where there's no. First of all, no one online is going to get pissed off with you because we're doing it on purpose. You're not just racing someone in a practice session, and
right.
And also it completely doesn't matter. Damage is turned off like normal. If we spin or crash or whatever, nothing actually matters. It's just a chance to actually exercise those elements of your driving capabilities without it actually mattering. Although I'd like there to be some pressure on you as much as I can put it, in terms of I care what you do, but ultimately you can do it wrong as many times as you want. So
there's pressure, all right. Don't worry about that.
I mean, you're on camera. I mean, kind of. So that's one thing. Right. So I'm back around at the start line now. So I'm just going to stop somewhere on the line here.
Okay. Well, I just slowed down, so I was just listening and talking. But I'll come back around.
I'm terrible at starting these cars. I'm just doing a couple of practice starts, but. Oh, I actually did quite a good start there. I was quite pleased with that one. Right, okay. I'm just waiting in neutral, kind of just past the start line. Yeah, this is a thing that we should probably do more of, just as a matter of just on keeping on top of it. In the same way, we haven't really. I guess is there any wet weather in Super Formula? Is this ever wet?
I don't know. I've never seen it wet in Super Formula, so I don't know if there is or isn't.
Maybe it's
maybe
rare
because
or...
you can't change tires into wets. Exactly. I don't know.
So but if you were doing wet, series where there was potential of rain, we should definitely do some sessions.
Yeah.
Just in the rain, just in general. The problem is it's so changeable that you won't get the exact same conditions that you're actually racing, but we could try a spectrum of conditions anyway. So yeah, I'm a bit further forward. I was just doing some practice starts, so I'm miles forward. Okay, so what should we start with? Let's start with you chasing me down, because you're likely to be quicker than me to begin with anyway, because I've done one lap of practice and it wasn't a very good one. So let's go. I mean, we don't need to do a standing start necessarily, but we can if you like. I'll tell you what, let's just do it anyway, just because it's good practice just to do one. And I will do my best to try and stay in front of you. And in terms of like the push to pass, I don't even think I've got a button set for that. Feel free to use it though. You're welcome to use
mine. That's even better. I deserve the advantage.
Yeah, I mean, feel free to use it in a way that you would in reality. If it just makes it way too easy to pass, then maybe we won't bother. But see how it feels anyway. I'll do my best to keep you behind.
You read my message about my disaster on the last race here.
Yes. Cool. Yeah, I did. I don't remember everything you said, but I did definitely read it.
So basically, I qualified really well I was a single split, right? The guys ahead of me were all 4, 5, 6,000. And I was, like a measly, 1,380 or whatever it is.
Okay.
And so I was fast, really fast. And I went through the first corner. I was on the outside, and I gave lots of room because I knew the guy was going to come over. He never actually hit me, but the net code said he hit me.
Yeah.
So then I went into turn. So I got a 4x on there, and I was off track to avoid him. So I got 5x total, and I had damage.
Yeah.
So I went down. So I went down through turn 2 and 3, down the long straight. I was still in like 7th position, I think, and I was taking again because there were sort of 2 lines of traffic there. There was the inside line and the outside line, and just measured up that I was better on the outside line, and I was right on the guy in front of me, and we both went through really well. And the guy behind us, I don't know what position he came from, but he came in at 480 kph,
Okay.
and just blew into both of us, and he landed on top of me.
Oof. Okay.
And so then I was like, what? Now I'm 5x plus 4x. I'm 9x, and I'm trying to limp back to the pits, and my car was so hard to stay. I should have probably just requested a tow.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I thought, no, I'll try to limp back to the pits, and I lost it in the S's. And so I was 11x, and then I got into the pits, and that was too much damage. I lost
Oh man, that sucks.
almost one full safety rating in one race.
That sucks. Okay, well we can't lose anything here, so it's fine. So
No, I'm good.
so let's go. I mean, I guess I'm just gonna say 3, 2, 1, go. But it doesn't really matter what happens at the start. You're gonna destroy me off the start line because I don't know what to do. So I'm gonna try a double clutch. But here we go then. So 3, 2, 1, go. And now I have to remember how to drive this track, but you've got a few more races experience than me here, so let's see if you can get me. I'm a rookie in this situation. I'm going to see whether I do have... No, I don't have a push to pass button mapped. I can see it's not working. Oh, nailed me on the brakes there. Much quicker. This is quite good because it's quite realistic. I'm not having to try to be slower. I'm just realistically slower, so I'm just relying on dirty air.
Whoa.
Oh my god, it's sketchy. Fun though, really, really good fun to race. When I actually do eventually start doing some races again, it will be in this car, I think.
Whoa.
You followed me very deep there, thankfully.
Yeah.
I went well too deep.
That's funny how you get sucked into
Yeah.
somebody else's line, huh?
I can hear you. I can hear your spotter. It's great. Still there. Hold your line.
You were sneaky there and pushed me out.
I thought I was just giving you loads of room. I thought I was being nice.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what we'll do is we'll review these things afterwards as well. So if there is anything like that, we'll take a look back what it looked like from the outside, because you don't often. I mean, maybe you do look back at replays, but quite often something will happen in a race, and you might not get a chance to really look back at exactly what happened. So okay, I'm quite happy with my own performance so far. Managed to keep a very, very fast driver behind. Oh, and I'm all over the place here. Right, you've got a chance now because I'm making some mistakes. Okay, so that move is, it's difficult if the person on the inside is still level. Is that pure slipstream you're using at the moment?
So I was half and half on the straight. I caught up to you because I came slow out of the corner.
Yep.
and then I turned it off about halfway down the straight.
Okay, so let's try then this time with like full push to pass. See if you can get far enough past that it's like, you know, there's nothing I can do about it. Because I'm interested in that. Because at the moment, the amount that you got level with me, it's a relatively easy defense. I'll obviously try the same thing on you when I'm behind you as well.
Yes.
I don't remember, were we flat through turn 1?
No.
No, that's the Super Formula Light that's flat through turn 1. I did a session with someone not long after we did our session, but in the light car. And, yeah, that was full throttle all the way through turn 1. Yeah, not in this one. Right, okay, so this time you got pushed to pass all the way, okay. And I don't have it to defend, so let's just see whether we get far enough past. Nearly, but you can still, the inside line still has enough of the high ground that you can kind of come back on the brakes. Okay, that's interesting. So you might have to try somewhere else. Oh, well, that might be the place if I muck up like that.
No!
It's alright. I didn't hit you there, did I? That was just on throttle.
No, that was
okay.
Me trying to get past you.
That's alright. That's good though, because that's good practice trying to accelerate hard on a compromised line. So right, I'm slowed down. And obviously there's no damage. The only damage you've got essentially is like tyre wear or tyre overheating, right. So... Right, I'll just let you back on my tail. So, if the hairpin isn't working, we'll have to try and think about some other places. Are there any other places where you were able to get past people in your races you've been doing?
I did hear a couple of people, but they were making big mistakes.
Okay.
I came fast out of this and got past a couple people and they made a mistake. Okay. This is a really hard corner, even though I'm pretty fast through here. To get any room to pass.
I'm getting a little bit more used to the car again now. I'm still quite a long way off your best lap there. Okay, so you've got a toe. This time I'm not worried about defending into here.
I passed a couple people here, but it's always a little sketchy. It depends on the temperature of the track, whether I felt comfortable passing there.
Okay.
No, just made a mistake.
I'm gonna let you in a bit closer now.
I lit my rear tires up there.
Oh, sorry, I overslowed a bit there. I wasn't watching my mirror. Right, okay, so I'm gonna let you in front for a moment. I'm gonna see if I can find anywhere to attack that isn't into the hairpin. Obviously, the hairpin is the most obvious place, but I'm gonna have a bit of a feel for where it can be done. So I'm obviously not using any push to pass because I can't.
No, I'm not either.
So obviously try and keep me behind as best you can. Let's see what we can do. Oh, so you... Oh, that was a late Max Verstappen defense. Okay, so we had a 0x contact. Obviously there's no damage, so it doesn't matter. We'll look at that afterwards anyway. But I want to show you that from my view, because if that was a real race, I'd have been moaning at you on the voice chat for sure. But you can go back in front. Let's go and the reason was, so I committed to... You left me a little bit of a room. I was like, okay, I'm going to take that. I committed to it.
And I decided to take more.
Yeah, and you slammed the door in my face. So, because it wasn't a gradual move across, because it was quite an abrupt move, I just didn't have a chance to back out. Even though I definitely tried to back out, I still ended up hitting you. But I think we'd have probably both been okay. I think we'd have probably not sustained significant damage there, but...
That isn't typically what I would do there.
That's
I don't know why.
That's fine. I want you to try and keep me behind, so use whatever tactics you want, and we can chat afterwards about whether or not they're sensible or legal. But... Right, okay, let's go again. So I'm getting my first dose of dirty air here, so this is interesting. I think the slipstream largely makes up for it, though, so...
No, I'm not using push to pass.
That's okay. Yep, that's fine. And although the slipstream's strong, it's not quite enough for me to close up to you. So I only got a chance there because you went so deep as well. So
Yeah.
But I think we're still both in the fight here. I don't have a crew chief on at the moment, so I can't hear if you're next to me, which is unusual. Normally I've got that on. I had to just use my intuition. I'm going to let you back through again. Okay, so I only managed to get past you then because you went deep in the hairpin. So I think I wouldn't have had a chance if you hadn't. So what that essentially tells us is, on any corner that's a bit like that, it's quite important to, if you're holding the high ground, which is the inside, it's important to be very much under control through the apex, because the person on the outside essentially has an impossible task if you are under control. So you don't actually need to try extra hard. You know, you don't need to try and outbrake someone if you're already tight to the inside and they're not fully past. Even if they are fully past, you probably don't need to outbrake them. Right, let's try again. I don't think I'm close enough to you this time to do anything into there.
For once.
You don't have any pressure this time.
Finally.
I'll try and close in.
Oop, I'm kind of slow. I wasn't too bad.
Okay, so we got a 0.7 gap. Let's see if I can close that in. Obviously, second half of the lap's hard to overtake, but I haven't tried yet, so let's see. Well, you're holding station at the moment. I can't close in. Pulled away a bit from me there. Yeah, it's not nice following through that last section, is it?
No.
So it's going to be a very, very gradual close if I can. So I don't think I closed in a single tenth on that whole lap. I think if anything, you pulled a tenth on me. So that's good. I mean, one way of defending is not being caught. So that's quite a good technique. Yep, it's absolutely status quo. I need to be better through here.
Oh, I lost a little there.
I need to try and apply a bit more pressure now. Yeah, this is essentially impossible to do anything in this section, isn't it? Because there's one line for everyone. What you can do maybe is close in, so I think that's what I've got this time. Yeah, the hairpin really is the main bit here, isn't it? Okay. Let's see if we can do anything into here. And I did think about having a go there, but I think the sensible option really is to just wait for this section, isn't it? Because otherwise you're just going to both lose a bunch of time. Alright, let's see if we can do anything this time. Just slipstream. Okay, so you are really well defending the inside. Yep, well defended, that was good.
I'm gonna get you.
I assume you just let me through there.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Your turn. Yeah, so that was good. What you did well there was you didn't give me a sniff of the inside. It wasn't like you covered it, but I could have forced my way in. There was no way in. Like, you completely covered it, and so I was forced to make a decision. And I didn't. I made a decision, and I wanted to try and cut back on you, but because you basically parked your car in the correct place at the apex, I couldn't cut back on you without being massively disadvantaged. So that was good. That was like exactly the right covering technique into there. Okay, so let's give you a try. Sorry, I overslowed that. I was trying to keep you close so you could have a run at me down the next straight, but I overcompensated a bit there. Okay, so this is a different dynamic. I'm a lot closer this time. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I was pushing my luck a bit there. Our cars will repair themselves, but I was just wondering. I mean, I know ultimately it ended in an accident, but I quite like that you. I actually quite like that you kind of didn't give me the room, because I chose to go on the grass there. You know, if that was a real situation, the person in my position probably would shout at you. But ultimately, I chose to put half my car off the track, and you know, and it didn't work out. Again, we can look at that in more detail afterwards. I need to clean my visor because it's filthy after that. Right, let's go again. We'll go again.
I felt like I was telling you, look, if you want the inside, take the inside, but I'm staying here on the outside.
Yeah, okay. So I mean, we can look back at that again, actually. But I had a run on you, and there was a little gap to the outside. So I just thought, you know, I'm going to go for it. But you very clearly edged me further and further out, and yeah, in reality, I would have backed out, and I would have said, you know, I'm just going to get pushed on the grass here. So a lot of this, it comes down to who's got more to lose as well. You know, there's a lot of, just because something's legal or illegal doesn't mean it's the right or wrong thing to do, because it's quite situational. So you're kind of playing the percentages largely based, you know, whether or not you can bully your opponent out of the way, like very Max Verstappen style. You know, if they jump out of the way, then you haven't really forced them off, for example. But okay, right, let's see if we can get past me. So you're gonna have quite a nice run this time. And I'm trying not to give you even a sniff, because I know you want that side. And now you ooh, I don't know whether you're quite far enough past. Yeah, it was close, but you just didn't quite have enough of an overlap.
Yeah.
So
I didn't use push to pass. I was not on push to pass.
Okay. So I think the only thing you might have been able to do there to me is, when you got alongside, you gave me quite a lot of room. You might have been able to like put a little bit of a squeeze on me, so my inside line was a really difficult inside line. But you gave me quite a lot of freedom to, you know, have a decent line. Sorry, I'm going really slowly because I'm chatting to you.
I'm out of gas.
Oh, really? Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you've been driving longer than me, haven't you? Right, I'll tell you what then. Let's use that as a natural break opportunity just to watch back some of those replays.
Yeah.
I'll get the camera angle right. We can both refuel. Right, okay. So let's look back a couple of laps ago. In fact, we'll start at the beginning. And we'll skip through. I'll just skip through until there's some kind of action.
I need to click on your screen here.
Am I sharing?
There we go, yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. Right, I'm just... Right, this was our first battle. Okay, I think this is the one where you said I pushed you wide, so I'm going to just watch this. Maybe it was a different lap, because I definitely didn't push you wide there. Let's go on board. Yeah, so that was a relatively straightforward one. Not a lot really happened there, so there's not much to talk about. Let's go to... Oh, I did not mean to click where I just clicked. So let's go to here, because this is after I set a lap, and then we were together. Okay, here we go. Right, okay. Oh, okay. So this was the one where I thought you moved late. So let's go on board with me, so you can see what I saw. Okay. So
I did move late.
Let's have a look. So I'm like, okay, there's a gap. Whoa, and then there wasn't. Okay, I'm gonna just see that from the outside. It doesn't look that bad, but because the one thing you did, the reason that I would say that's technically okay, not necessarily well advised, but technically okay, is that you moved before I had any kind of overlap. So although I committed and I wasn't expecting you to move, when you come across, there's no overlap here. So you own this section of track.
The bad thing that I did is that if you see I move left and then right.
Yeah, so you opened and then slammed it. Yeah, and obviously you've got to factor in some kind of reaction time from the car behind. So I braked as quickly as I could. I think you probably see here the brake there. So that's just purely the speed of my reactions. But you are on the limit. Any later and it's just a massive crash. As it happened there, it's kind of it was just okay, but only because the other driver was willing to back out and not drive into the back of you. But yeah, okay, that's okay. There's nothing terrible there at all. We both went off, okay. But obviously I cut back, but I think you'd given up at that point. So let's see what's the next thing that happens. What's our next little thing? Right, okay. So this time you quite clearly covered the inside. So I tried outside. I cocked up, but so did you. And that gave me a bit of a run. So that was an unusual one because everything up until... Let's go on board with you. Everything up until now, when your front right locks, suggests you have won this little battle. But it's only because you had that lock up I was able to cut back. So, like we were saying at the time, it just means the main thing is, at this point here, you've got no need to try and go into this corner quick enough that you're going to lock up. You can be completely under control, especially because I've massively overcooked it and gone super deep myself. So, yeah, just maintain calm and control if you are if you've already got the advantage, if you've already got the advantageous position. Right, what happens next? Should probably go with me because then I can see what's going on. Okay, I was trying to catch you up at this point, nowhere near close enough. Again, nowhere near close enough. Yeah, you were just like holding me at arm's length, and now we're starting to get a bit closer. Okay, so what did you do here? Okay, so I don't remember what's going to happen here, but let's have a look. Okay, so you could argue there was just about enough room. I could have gone inside there, but and what you could have done is gone another foot or two to the right to really dissuade me, and then obviously moved across. When you see I've made my decision, you can move across. But from my view, it looked difficult to squeeze my car in there and still have any kind of room at the apex. So I decided to go this way. Okay. We'll look from the outside in a moment. And I tried to do the same as I did before, but it didn't work out because of where you positioned your car. So I tried to do the whole stop it early, cut back.
Cut back.
But because you were under control and in the way, there just wasn't space. If you'd have gone in deep, like you did before, there'd have been a nice clear gap here for me and I could have driven through it. But you did the right thing. You just got through completely under control and just blocked me. So yeah, that's all good. So this is all really nice so far. Did anything else happen here? Oh yeah, okay, right. There was this one, the ending.
Oh yeah, that one.
Right, okay. Let's see what happened here.
See.
So I'm seeing this, and I'm like, you know what?
Yeah, I guess the track kind of moves away, and I'm kind of bending just a little bit.
I've got a bit of room here, so I thought I'm going to go into it. But I never had an overlap at this point. You moved back across, and you made this smaller. And at this point, I should be thinking, well, that is a very much a closing wedge. I'm going to have to back out. But I didn't. I kept my foot in on the grass, thinking, well, I've still got a bit of room. And then it was me who lost control into you. So yeah, you didn't do anything wrong there.
I basically picked those cones as my angle.
Right. Okay.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna extend this out to the right towards the cones.
Yeah, you were within your rights to move right there. That was fine. I just committed to this bit of track, and I was hoping at some point he's going to stop moving across. And I mean, and this is silly. You know, you'd never. A person in my position is never going to win this argument in the steward's room, because I'm clearly well off the track, hanging on for dear life, and then I crash into you. So yeah, totally the green car's fault, the bright green car on that one. So that's good. Okay, cool. I think we should do some more.
Okay.
So I think that was it, wasn't it? Did anything else happen after that, apart from us running out of fuel? I think think that was the end. Oh no, we've got this last one. Let's go on board with you for this one. Right, this is where you very, very nearly had enough of an overlap. Okay. But just not quite. Just not quite. So, yeah, so there's a couple of things you could have done here, potentially, and I don't think it would have made that much difference. You could have squeezed me a bit here. And in fact, I could be squeezing you. I could have moved across more to make sure that make sure I had the most, the nicest possible angle. Essentially, if I'd moved further left, that would have prevented you from moving further right. But neither of us did it. And I would say you could be putting the squeeze on me a bit more. You could be like holding me tight here. But ultimately, I didn't move into this position anyway, so it wouldn't have made much difference. The other thing you could have done, because at this point you're completely clear, you could have pulled in front of me, because actually, you have a decent gap. You could have moved in front. However, I'd have probably crashed into the back of you, or I might have seen you coming across and gone, "Oh crap," and then braked early. But you probably did the sensible thing, unless this was like last lap and it's for the championship and you have to get ahead, at all costs. You probably did the right thing here, staying where you were, because I always had this intention of sticking it back up the inside. So,
and I probably should have closed off the inside line at the apex more. No.
Yeah, you
because
could.
I was. You can see how I'm orienting my car. I'm actually giving you room already.
Yeah, you're giving me a lot of room. You're giving me a lot of room. You could have driven towards the apex here. You would have risked me locking up, going, oh shit, I'm getting pinched, and then braking harder and locking up into you. But ultimately, that probably would have been my fault if that had happened, and it might not have happened. So yeah, if you were really being firm here, you could have just driven more diagonally to the apex and forced me to back out, but you didn't. You gave me the space. And in fact, let's just show you from my point of view how much room I had. Let's go on board. So I always felt like I am going into this gap here, whatever he does. And yeah, in fact, there's a point here where you can see I've got the ability to roll off the brakes any moment now, because I see you're not turning in. I'm like, just here. I'm like, okay, I'm rolling off, and I'm going to carry some speed in. And yeah, we've both got plenty of room. So I think we were both very nice to each other there. Maybe on this next run, let's be a bit more ruthless on this next one. Okay. I mean, I know we had a couple of crashes, but that wasn't necessarily from being ruthless in combat. It was more from me being reckless. So let's do another one, but let's squeeze each other a bit more. Let's try.
The thing that gets me, it's almost easier. Not that it's easy to race you. It's not easy, but it's predictable, and I can understand. I know basically what my limits are and where you're trying to go.
Yeah.
So it's predictable to me. Whereas in a race, you get these people that are like, for example, the hairpin, where I was already booted off at turn 1.
Yeah.
Had some damage. I was in a great position. I was right where I needed to be. I was right on the guy, and he went through perfectly. I went through perfectly, and then this guy comes in at 1,000,000 miles an hour and torpedoes us.
Yeah, there's not much you can do about it. I mean, There are some situations where you can just be extra cautious and be like, you know what, this guy's crazy. I don't care that I'm allowed to do a certain thing. It's better for both of us if I don't. It's the whole what's the American zebra crossing? What's the equivalent of a zebra crossing in the US? A crosswalk where you have like the white and black stripes. Certainly in the UK, if there's a pedestrian, as a pedestrian, you're allowed to walk on those, and cars have to stop for you. But sometimes it's advisable not to, because just because you were allowed to be on it, if the car hits you, you're still coming off worse. So who's right and who's wrong doesn't matter necessarily in certain situations, and that is definitely the case in iRacing. But if you're racing with people that you trust, then you can probably rely a bit more on the kind of what we're doing here. Like, I'm allowed to do this, therefore I'm going to do it. You just have to tailor that. But someone torpedoing you when you're already on your way into a corner, I mean, without foresight and without staring at your mirrors and diving out of their way, they're going to hit you, aren't they? So
we were exiting. Of course, he was even farther forward.
It's even worse. Yeah, that's bad.
Anyway.
But yeah. I mean, yeah. There's only so much you can do there. But I'm trying to give you a realistic idea of what a half decent driver would do.
Yeah.
So I tell you what, let's just go straight from the pits. Cold tires. Let's start straight away.
Why don't we go and do a U-turn? Follow me.
Because we'll get disqualified.
Will we?
I think so. Won't we get a black flag for driving the wrong way?
I've done it in practice, but yeah, black flags.
I was going to say the problem is I can't get rid of your black flag when I'm out in the car with you. I can do it now, but I can't.
Fine.
Let me just clear penalties. There we go. I just can't do it when I'm in the car. That's all.
Fine.
So we might have to just do a pretend start line. We can do a start line round here. We could start on this next stroke. Maybe let's start once we're out of the pit exit here. There we go. I'll pull over this side. You can have pole if you like.
No, thanks.
I don't have a very good way of calling the start, so.
Yeah, well, it's okay.
I'll tell you what, I did the last one. You go this time.
Okay, we'll go on 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Oh.
We both had suboptimal starts there. Oh my god, the cold tires. Oh, was that hot? Was that too hot? Not too cold?
I think it's because I spun and then cooked my tires up.
Right, okay.
That wasn't very good.
Right, let's go. We might need a lap or so to have decent grip.
Trying to make a corner right after spinning my tires was not really advisable.
So I was just watching you in the mirror and just missed the corner completely. I could see a lot of dust coming up from your car. I was wondering what it was. Oh, well avoided. Well avoided. If we'd have made contact there, that would have definitely been my fault. But you did exactly the right thing, and you gave me room and still came off better. So that was good. Although you probably would have earned yourself an off track, I guess.
Yeah.
So this is quite good. I'm going to try and cause you to drive in the mirrors a bit because I'll be a bit less predictable and maybe do some sends. I'll try not to just crash into you, but you know. Go for a move where you're essentially relying on the other person seeing it coming and giving you room. Okay, that was a good early defense that time. Oh, okay, I just nearly died. I just spun the wheels on a curb and
Did I get you?
No, it was me. It was I was trying to hang on round the outside,
I saw that.
I touched a curb and I nearly broke my wrist on my force feedback. It snapped around so fast. Right, I'm nearly back with you.
I was trying to squeeze you.
No, it was good. Well, if that had been a race, then you've just done the perfect thing because your opponent has just spat it off the track. That was good. It was really good. I tried to release the brakes and run around the outside, but you had it covered, so it's good. Alright, let's see if we can get a little bit closer. God, the dirty air through that fast right really kills you, doesn't it? When you're trying to follow someone.
I did that too.
Yeah, I think I might have slightly warm rears at this point. It's alright, they'll get under control in a moment. There's a lot of dust on this track.
Yeah.
We're kicking up a lot of dust.
We. Whoa.
It's okay.
Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. If that had been reality, I wouldn't have tried to go around the outside of a car that was clearly losing control. Right. Okay. This is going to be a lot closer now then. Right. So let's see how we go. Keep me behind at all costs. I did say all costs, so that's fair enough.
You said all costs.
Yep. Right, okay, this is going to be a nice run this time, hopefully. Power's still in your hands though at this point, so you can dictate where I go based on where you go. Oh wow, yeah, there's a lot of gravel on that bit of the track because your tyres got coated when you drove over it. And again, really good block, although I think I just managed to sneak through, but you've still got the high ground here. So it's not over for me at all. I'm going to let you back up the inside here just to see how it goes. Yeah, dirty as hell on the outside. God, if someone goes wide there, they're screwed. So that was a nice bit of multi-corner.
Yeah.
The one thing I think we need to look at is how I'm being able to get up your inside on the exit of the hairpin, because you've got it covered, and then there's a moment where I managed to get back. We've had a couple of times where I've managed to get back up the inside, and I probably shouldn't have been able to. Okay, good. That was really nice and early again. And that time it kind of worked the opposite way. So trying around the outside there isn't silly because it did just work. But you really have to kind of know you're going to be wide quite early. So that time I had the benefit of having already tried it once.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go again. Okay, so don't let me back up your inside on the exit here. Essentially, all you need to do is go in slow enough that you're on the inside no matter what I do. Okay, so this is roles reversed this time. Ooh. And that was I would have been saying on the voice chat, man, you turned in on me. But you're the one that survived, so. But yeah, we'll definitely look back at that one. But the Aston Martin looking car was lucky that the Sauber looking car was highly skilled and backed out of it. Because I thought I was through. I was like, yeah, this is done and dusted. The only reason that I didn't manage to at least stay up the inside was because I saw you coming across, and I was like, oh shit, here we go. Right, let's go again. Oh, sorry. So we'll definitely use that one. That'll be a real interesting one to look at. What's good about doing this kind of thing is you end up on parts of the track that you wouldn't necessarily ever go to in practice, because you're not ever going to go around the outside of a corner on purpose, because you've got no need to. But when you're doing a bit of sparring, you have to be driving on the crappy bits. Right, so this time, if I get a run round your outside, go tidily enough into the apex that I can't come back up the inside on the exit.
Oh,
that was the opposite.
I was looking in my mirror to see how much room I had, and then I looked in my mirror and I'd missed my point.
Okay, again, it's still good practice. You know, it's good to get it wrong now. Right, let's go again. Oh, I thought you might go for that one. I was waiting for someone to stuff it up the inside there. You've still got the high ground here. I'd still rather be on your side.
No.
Okay, so this is the... In terms of attack and defense, this is the one bit that consistently, where you've got the better position, you're coming out behind. It's that hairpin. It's effectively by trying to over-defend it. But, you know, by trying to have your cake and eat it. You're trying to be on the inside and still carry good speed through it. So, if there's one thing I'd say that would prevent me getting past you, and obviously prevent other people getting through, based on this, is if you just went into the hairpin slower. Basically, if you just into the apex slower, there are multiple times now where I wouldn't have been able to get through. I've only got past because I've just gone, well, I hope he goes deep, and every time you do go deep, and it just opens the door for me. So, like, you know, I've not had to do any work. I'm just there, and suddenly you're not there anymore, and it gives me the space. So that's something that I think we need to do this a few more times. Sorry, I'm just going to let you through here so we're in that position again. Because if I could have, you know, if I could choose, I would rather be the car on the right-hand side here every time. Even if the car on the left is, like, slightly ahead. You know, if we're in these two positions that we're in now, I'd still rather be in your position. You've still got this corner. There's no way I should be able to get past you here. And that time, there wasn't, because you were just completely under control. That's exactly what you need to do. Okay. And in fact, you can even go tighter than that on the exit to definitely stop me getting up the inside, if necessary.
That's a hard corner to go to in.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Because the car on the outside has to come back at some point. And the car on the inside doesn't have any room to let them. Yeah, so you've got to be confident to go for a move into there, I think. And here, I don't think there's any way, unless the car in front goes off. There's no way through here. This is all one line.
Oh, that was misjudged.
Again, you got to the inside in time, and there's nothing I could do about it. So all I can do is try the outside, and that time it worked. Ooh. I nearly died, but it still worked.
I would have had you, but then I lost traction.
So my sole focus when I'm the defender into that corner is come off the corner on the right-hand side. You know, be the one that controls the right-hand side. That's my... Well, that's not my sole focus is the wrong word. It's my main focus. The other one is don't spin the wheels on the exit. But,
yeah.
Right, so I want you to be ahead again for that hairpin, because I want to try and get you in the same way that I've got you before, where you've gone in a little bit deep. I need you to successfully deny me entry into that hairpin a couple more times. You're good at defending the inside into here. Okay, so very, very much I have to go left, so that's fine. And you've moved across to squeeze me, which is also good. I'm going to hold this ground. So I got through into the space.
Indeed.
So, yep, so just same thing again. I'm going to let you back through. So the, you went wide enough that obviously I had an open door again. So that's the one thing. If let's just practice that until I can't get through, because it's all in your hands. Like, all you have to do is not outbrake yourself, and you've got that corner. Like, it's the most typical, you know, tight hairpin in the world, probably. You know, really, really fast straight, very, very slow apex hairpin. Like, the person in front has control of that corner as long as they make the apex and can stay as tight as they need to. And so that is your one job. Even if I'm past, even if I'm ahead on track, as in, I could be a full car length ahead. If you've got that apex, I'm not coming past you. Obviously, on the exit, we could each get a very, very different amount of traction, but that's like the next thing. That's like the second thing you have to do. But number one is preventing me having that inside at any point. I want you to not allow me to cut back. So
okay.
you need to be going really, really slow as you cross through the apex, so you can choose how tight you are on the exit. Especially because you're on the compromise line. I'm all the way out here, so I've got an easier line to make that apex.
How did you get there?
It was nearly that time, nearly. So you didn't block me, so you'd cleared the apex by the time I got there. So effectively, you don't need to stop dead, but you need to be going even slower as you pass through the apex. If you can see, I'm on a trajectory that's going to cut back across, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. It's a difficult one because you're having to drive your own car and really think about where my car is going to end up at the same time. But this is good though. This is like a real attacking and defending into hairpins is a genuinely useful thing to practice, because there's a lot of corners in the world that are very much like that. Right, let's do it again. And I was actually quite far back on that one, so you very, very much had the high ground that time. Right, let's try it again. You need to be going slow enough through there that if I want the inside, I can't have it because you're already on the inside. Okay, so you did it. You did the thing I asked you to do. I don't know where you are now, actually. And yeah, maybe just a fraction too much. We'll watch all these back in a moment to see if there's a thing you could have done differently. But that time I couldn't get a cut back, but you had to go so slow on the inside that I went around the outside instead. So in that situation, you could have probably run me wide. That would have been your option in that one. So instead of, you'd already got the full inside covered, and that means you can then dictate my exit line a little bit. So let's do a couple more, and then we'll go back. Otherwise, we'll forget. We'll have done so many, we'll forget them. But there's some great examples here. Good. Yep, nothing I could do. I had to basically hit you there. I was like, oh, he's completely blocked me off. So that was a good one. Let's do it again. Let's do one more, and then I think you've done it. But that was good. So I couldn't go around your outside because you went in quick enough that you were still ahead. But at the crucial point where I needed to cut back across to get to the inside, you were still hovering around that point. So I couldn't do that kind of crossover. You essentially deliberately maintained a particular part of the track to block me off. So good block defense. That was a tricky one because, well, it's not over yet anyway. But you gave me room. Almost too much room. You didn't give me much there, so that was good. That was nice and aggressive. Yeah, well done.
I'm off track.
It's okay. I'd stop counting at that point. Right. Okay. I think we should. I think we should review those.
Yeah.
Have a little look. Right. Okay. So, how far back do we need to go? Let's go to. Let's have a look from here. I'm just going to fast forward through these and see how they go. Right. Okay. So this one here. Right. So this is quite an early example, and what happens is I think I just go all the way around the outside this time. Yeah. Okay. So on this one, you did the thing where you completely covered the inside. Really, really good. But at this point here, you can actually. Yeah, you went so slow that you really compromised your own exit because it was too late for me to get a cutback. You could have already been on the power, running wide, just getting a genuinely good exit on this one. So that was like you were just too nice to me. You gave me tons and tons of space. So I was like, cool, I'll just use it then and get on the power early. So that was that one. What happened here? Okay. Oh, is this the one where I said you turned in on me? Okay, interesting. It was because this was really early. So this is what I saw. And in fact, you can see from this view, I can't even see you. I can on my side screen, but we're very much side by side, so we can see that. Okay, so then back to the cockpit. This is what I saw. So I saw you coming across and backed out. So let's just watch the slow-mo. You definitely swooped to an apex, but you gave me enough space. You know, you basically were like, I'm going to give you the minimum legal requirement for space. And in fact, I went up on the curb in avoidance. But I had a few centimetres of extra space I could have used. Maybe could have avoided the curb. But you very, very much put it onto me there. You were like, I'm not going to completely drive into the space that you occupy. I'm going to squeeze you to the legal maximum, effectively. And you did. And I was like, oh shit, and spun around. The only downside to that for you is, if it had been a different driver, if it wasn't me, I might have just hit your rear wheel. You know, that it would have been very easy if I was like, well, screw it. If he's going to turn in on me, I'm going to hit him. You know, I could have hit you. So that's the only thing from that one. But you didn't do anything like technically wrong there. And you know, if you're racing someone that you trust that is going to back out of it, then that was great. And you maintained, you know, you stayed on track. You did everything you had to do. That was one of those zebra crossing moments where maybe in another one I might have hit you and you could have gone, hey man, I left you the space and you still hit me. And I would have gone, yeah, but you turned across on me. Like I was already committed to that speed and whatever. So, but yeah, that's kind of a, again, on the limit, but fine. You know, I can't complain about that. If I'd sat and watched the replay, I'd have been like, harsh, but yeah, okay, he didn't do anything wrong. Okay, so what was the next one? Yeah, I mean, it was hard driving. So, okay, so this was just a standard. You completely had me covered, and then I think you looked in the mirror and went wide.
Yeah, oops.
So that's fine. So, yeah, definitely don't do that. So
okay.
Let's carry on to the next one. All right, okay. So, we're fully side by side. This is one of those ones where I was saying, I would still rather be you here, because you've got such a clear, you know, you're still dictating where I can go. I can't turn across because you're still there, and you've got no obligation to move out of my way. If I try and come across, you can just keep going straight and let me spin off the front of you, you know. So sensible thing is for both of us to keep going straight. And it's just that, is that the speed from here through the apex. Because right now, obviously, you've still got this. There's nothing I can do. If I want to cut back and you happen to stay tight, well, I can't cut back because you're there. There's nowhere to cut into. But because you lock up and go wide, you just give me this beautiful space. So essentially, your car needs to occupy this area, or tighter, if you can still get a good exit, at the point I want to use it. And obviously this time it wasn't. The seas parted for me, so that's just one of those. If you maintain control, you've got this. You're fine. You know, you dictate it. So that was an easy one for me. Okay, let's go again. Okay, so similar situation. Maybe I'm slightly further ahead this time, but I'd still rather be you in this situation. You know, if we're in a race on the final lap of the race, I'd still rather be the dark green car here. And definitely at this point, I'd rather be you. You know, you've got me. And it works. So good. That time, perfect. At exactly the point I wanted to cut through you, you stopped your car on the apex. You meant, number one, the first priority is he can't, there's no space for the attacker to move through. Priority number two, get a nice clean exit. And obviously both of those are important. You can't be so, as we saw in a different example, or maybe we're going to see it next, you can't be so covering of the inside that you get a terrible exit, because obviously I'm just going to go round you anyway.
Right.
So you have to balance the priorities, but you have to at least hit both of them, and you do. And the first priority, like I say, is don't provide me with the room to move into. Exactly that point, I just couldn't. I couldn't use my extra momentum, and you got a clean exit. Perfect. So that's all good. And then what happened here? Did I just go for a lunge?
Probably.
That one, I'd say I kind of scared you off the track. You know, you were trying to be really nice to me, and you saw me coming. You provided room. You know, if you'd gone straight to the apex, we would have definitely crashed. So you didn't do that. You were sensible. You just went a bit too wide, and then lost it a bit on the exit. But, you know, you stayed ahead. You stayed ahead, so if that was real, you've still come off in front. So this is, your defense into here is really good. The way that, the moment I get a sniff of the inside, it's gone. I can't go there. What happens this time then? Did you over-defend and I went round? Yeah, so you stayed tight. At the moment I go all the way wide, you can then like also move wide and give yourself at least the second best possible line into the corner. Whereas staying super tight, you're on like, if this is the best line, then this is like the second best. This is the third best. You're on like the fourth or fifth best possible line. So it just means you have to go so slow into there that I can just go faster. So you were just overly nice to the attacker there. So as a standard thing, I'd say the moment, if you've covered the inside, you want me to do what I did. You know, you're saying go outside. So you want me to go here. I've done what you want, but you can then at that moment as like a switch go, okay, and then come all the way out and meet me there. And then I'm stuck. So, you know, you're fully within your rights to press me against the edge. As long as you leave me this much room, it's fine. I can't do anything about it. So, yeah, you were just overly nice. We saw that a little bit with both of us into the hairpin earlier, but that was just overly nice. Right, what happens next? Okay, right, so you're on the outside this time. Do you try and get a cut back? Yes, but it just didn't work out.
Didn't
okay,
work.
fine. I didn't screw up enough for it to work, basically. Okay.
Sadly.
Since you're defending here, let's just have a look at this anyway. Because this is different. I wasn't as close to you on this one. But I could see what was happening. I could see you were going right, and I've got momentum. I don't want to commit right, and you know you're going right, and then my momentum goes because I have to back out. So I can see what's about to unfold. So I commit left to use the momentum and get even closer. You're pressing me a bit more, but not completely. What happens? Oh, okay. So fortunately for you, you actually slide a bit, and that kind of artificially slows you down, and I'm like, whoa.
Right.
So that was almost like a, I don't know, you might have been deliberately covering the inside, but the slide actually really played into your hands there because I had to completely back out. Okay, so we're going to be back in a similar position down here. This time I'm a little bit further alongside. In fact, I'm ahead slightly. Again, though, you're in the better position, so let's see what happens this time. What I did here was I tried to keep you tight for a bit longer,
And then move.
and then I
left,
moved out.
yeah.
And you kind of, you took that bait, you know, you did stay there. What happens now? Okay, it's the lockup. It's the, everything's in your court still. You're completely, yeah, you can see actually how much extra speed you're carrying through. So it's almost like in an effort to maintain parity with me in the braking zone, in an effort to try and stay the same, you know, cover the same ground as we both are. You then, because I'm on a nice line here and you're on a hard, you know, difficult line, you can't carry that much speed. You have to compromise your entry speed, and you don't do it enough. That's all. So yeah, so we're going the same speed, but the reason I can not lock up is because I'm on the right line into the corner, and you're having to apply more lock and all that. So
Well, you can see I actually rolled off for a second to get my nose back
yeah.
equal to you.
So
which
I
was
think
not
the takeaway lesson from the several situations we've had here is you don't need to. Like you've already got it. You know, just by being on the inside with any kind of overlap, the corner's yours as long as you don't screw up. And it's that little screw up there that just gifts it to me. So that's it. Okay, so right, let's go again. Because it doesn't happen every time. And you've covered me off a couple of times. Right. Okay, so you've definitely got it covered this time. Because I don't even have an overlap. Ooh, you had it. You were so close. So close to having it that time. So what could you have done differently?
Could have come out more to open up the corner.
Yeah, there's a couple of things, aren't there? You've over defended. That's the main reason why I get this run. Because if you were even half the distance out towards me here, you'd have come off the corner quick enough that I couldn't have pulled alongside. Because I've got the perfect line and you've got a heavily compromised line, you actually have to slow down more than you should. And that's why when we get to here, I've got such a pace overlap. And you just happen to have cleared the apex at exactly the point I needed you to. So there's two things. If you'd have gone in slower, then I couldn't have cut back up the inside. But you didn't really feel like you needed to because, I wasn't really very far alongside you. I wasn't like past you. But it's this gap. You're completely right to notice that. That's the reason. So if I was in your position here, and suddenly the car that was behind back here, but is fully alongside and on a better line, I think the only mindset switch you could have had is, oh crap, I've over defended here. I guess I'm going to have to park it on the apex, and make sure you're still there at the point I want to cross over. I think that's the only change you could have made at this point. But yeah, because you have. Basically, I go through the apex here at, what's my minimum? 47. What's your minimum? 39. Yeah. So you've really had to slow it down to make that line work. And so, that's why. And it's obviously also the timing. I can probably see that that's happening and see that you're so tight that you're going to naturally push a little bit wide at this speed. And I've just taken advantage of that. But yeah, you nearly had that one. That was like, this line you've taken on the exit here is completely fine if you've managed to carry a bit more speed through, because you'd have still been significantly ahead at this point here. And obviously then it gets exaggerated because you see it happening and you boot the throttle and it goes a bit wrong. Yep. Okay, that was a more complex one though. But again, partly it's the not squeezing. The moment I've committed to wide, you should really, as long as you're not already committed in your braking zone, and we weren't at the braking zone when I went wide, we still had, a good distance to go until we were actually about to get on the brakes. If you squeeze me more, you're going to really limit where I can go. In fact, all the way, I'm going to go back actually and watch this again. At this point here, I'm going to actually bring up a video example here because I want to show you. I want to show you a real-world example. This is extreme and maybe a little bit too extreme. And you're going to recognise this the moment I show you it, because it's quite a famous example. Let's find it on YouTube. But this is an example of the defending driver taking this to an extreme. I'm just going to wait for the advert to finish playing before I can show you. 10 seconds to go. But it's basic. But you do the opposite of what this driver does. So I'm basically just going to use this as an example to say, if you do nearly what he did, then you're there. Right, come on, Jack Daniels advert. Right, here we go. Here we go. So, I don't know if it's this lap. We're about to find out. So, Rosberg is defending. So, we're in the difference is the car on the outside is defending in this situation, but it doesn't actually matter because we're in relatively the same position. So, whether you're attacking or defending, you've arrived at the braking point side by side. So it actually doesn't matter how you arrive there. From that point onwards, it's the same as our situation. So here we go. Oh, no, I'm talking rubbish. No, I'm talking rubbish. No, the car on the outside's Hamilton. The car on the outside is attacking, so it is the same as our situation. So here we go. Okay. So see how much Rosberg squeezed him. He's basically he's preventing Hamilton from turning. Hamilton would have already turned in by now, but he can't because ultimately they make contact. They make contact because Rosberg goes a little bit too far. He goes, and obviously then it comes off worse. I wonder if there's another replay. So we need a replay from before this. Will it go back and show us the replay? 'Cause I want the onboard.
There it is.
This is afterwards. Here, okay, this is a better angle. So it's not the onboard, but it's at least a better angle. So here we go. So he's holding him wide, although he's not even right up against him. But what he is doing is preventing the outside car turning in, because you can't go through the inside car. Even though this car's ahead, you can't turn in and go through this car. The car on the inside is dictating.
He's still going straight until then.
And actually, you could argue, this car now has turned in when he still had more space. This car really has the right to keep running you wider. So I would argue, and I think Rosberg probably did argue, he turned across on me, and Hamilton was saying he didn't turn in. And if I was the steward, I'd say he doesn't have to turn in. Not until you get to the edge. You still had space out here, so he's got he is within his rights to dictate when you both turn in. Until you get to the outside, at some point, if you meet the white line, okay, the outside car has to turn in at that point. But until then, you don't, it's up to the inside car. And if that isn't the case, why hasn't Hamilton already turned in at this point? He knows the inside car is dictating the line. He's already compromised it. He just decided, no, enough is enough, I'm coming in. But anyway, that's just an extreme example of what you could be doing to me, because I'm not going to try and drive through you. It's in my interest not to make contact. So if the inside car's going straight, I'm like, I can't go, and it's only when I get right to the edge that I would actually turn. And in fact, here I'd probably go out on the asphalt.
Right.
So yeah. Anyway, there we go. So you didn't obviously do that. That's the only reason I got that cut back. Right. Let's go to another example. Let's just keep going. Let's see what happens next. So again, here you've made your intentions clear. You've gone right. So I'm like, okay, I can't do anything. And you've done here what I'm trying to get you to do at the hairpin, which is you hover on the apex. Right here, I want to get on the power, but you're still there. You've stopped the car. You're like monitoring where I am, and you haven't just gone in fast and wide and given me an overlap. I can't use my momentum. My attack is stunted onto the next one. It's like stalemate again, and we both accelerate at the same time. Okay. You've definitely got the advantage.
I need to come out.
Yeah, this was the one time you overly slowed. I know on the previous one we were looking at, you overly slowed, but that was more because you'd gone so tight to the inside. This time, yeah, you just were too nice to me. In this situation, you actually could have rolled off the brakes, because I couldn't get a cutback because you're still there. You could have just rolled off enough so that I don't get this beautiful, ideal exit. But it's too late. By now, it's too late. By now, I'm ahead, and if you roll off, you're just going to drive into my side pod. But back here, well, there's two things. You could have been out here closer to me, for sure. We could have done the Rosberg thing again, but just not quite as extreme. And at this point, you could have maybe seen me in your peripheral vision and realised, well, he's going too fast to get a cutback now, so we can come out side by side. You're kind of keeping me there in the same way that on the entry, you could be keeping me out here. You could at this point, you could be keeping me wider here as well. But you were just like super nice, and I just said to you, whatever you do, stay tight. And so you were basically doing what I was telling you. Yeah, I think the biggest thing though is using a bit more room here. If I'm pressing, if I'm staying super tight to you here, obviously you've got no choice. And then we're both going to go through there really slow. So I'm not going to get a cutback if I'm keeping you really tight. But because I'm not, I'm getting such a big benefit. Whether I cut back or whether I go wide, I'm getting this nice speed benefit on you. So, yeah, I think the number one thing is I still want you slow at the apex, but from a much more beneficial line. You're just overly compromised each time. And you can be overly compromised if I also compromise myself, but I just haven't been doing that. All right, let's see. Do we do it again? Okay, we are doing it. Oh, no. Yeah, we are doing it. Right, okay. So, again, similar situation. What happens this time? Oh, okay. I can't remember what happens, but let's see. Okay. I think you unintentionally, or maybe intentionally, parked on the apex. So, you're not quite as tight, or I'm not quite as wide. There's still a bit of room you could be in.
I was trying to block your cutback.
Yeah,
basically.
and you did. Yeah, you can see. I can see because you're braking extra hard. Everything's fine here, and then you lock up after the apex because you're like, I want to stay tight, and it works because you're still there when I want to cut back. So it does work. You could have maybe been slightly more elegant with it. You could have, you could
For
have,
sure.
you could have done that by being a fraction slower here rather than there, where you're like, whoa, crap, I'm going a bit too fast. But regardless, you stopped me and I couldn't get through. I had to jump on the brakes to stop it. So yeah, that one kind of worked. So, and I was still doing my best to come through. Let's just see this one. I think it's the same here. You are overly compromised again.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep saying this. What you're doing here is perfectly legitimate if I haven't let you go wide. If I'm also tight. But I'm giving you the freedom and I'm just like, yeah, he's not going to use it. So I'm going to maximize my exit. And it oh so nearly worked. The only reason it didn't work is because I could see you were coming wide. I was like, I've seen this move before. He's putting me on the grass. I'm getting out of this wedge. So I backed out. But yeah. Right, okay. Very similar situation again. Okay, this time you're comfortably ahead.
I should be way out.
Yeah. This is good though, because the fact we've kind of cottoned onto this common theme means that this is something you can genuinely, consciously try and make a change to. It's just driving in a straight line, but a bit further across, that's all. Yeah, okay, we saw this before. I shouldn't have been able to get such a good exit compared to you. Because, I don't take a racing line. I'm taking a compromised wide line. But you've so compromised yourself by being tight, and you don't squeeze me on the exit. You stay extra tight on the inside. If you'd have even come out to here and given me a width, one car width, I think you'd have still come off better because you nearly came off better. You still nearly did it. It's only because you gave me this extra space that you had to delay your throttle even more. So if you take that space plus that space into account, there's no way I'm coming through. No way.
Yeah.
Like, you're just going to get a much, much quicker exit than me. So yeah, that is those combined. You're working with a tiny track width there. Okay, but then I think you come back really strongly here. Because of what you did here, you didn't come around here and stay tight and give me loads of room, which I was, expecting you to. I was like, he's definitely going to give me room. You came through here and you were very much diagonal. And because I didn't really have a significant enough overlap, I was like, well, he's coming all the way out to the curb. And I overly jumped out of your way. I was like, oh shit, he's coming all the way out. And by the time I got here, I was too compromised. You were still there. And then you managed to outbrake me, which was really nice. Although actually, you then went wide on the exit. But I think maybe we called it there, didn't we? Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
That was actually genuinely really good. I think we've uncovered some. It's good just to do some practice anyway. It's good just to do that similar thing over and over and over again. But I think we actually uncovered a way that you can defend better into hairpins. So
yeah, that's good.
If nothing else, you can be nicer to the attacker. Sorry, less nice to the attacker, but nicer to your own line into a corner like that. Once the attacker commits, you can go with them. You can be like, okay, I'm committing as well. And obviously, I know you want to leave some netcode safety margin, but you could, as we saw from all those examples, you could be like 3 or 4 car widths closer to the attacker, and be the Rosberg. Dictate when I turn in, and at the same time, don't go through the apex so fast that you're going to lock up. But it won't be as likely to lock up or understeer wide if you're not on such a difficult trajectory. If you've really, opened it up as much as you can with the attacker there. You're only 1 car width tighter than you would normally be. And you're like, you're 1 car width wider, and you're preventing me from taking that lovely cutback line because I can't because you're still there. The fact that you were so tight always gave me the freedom to try this momentum cutback. So those 2 things combined, I think are a genuinely a good lesson. So
yeah, that was awesome. I enjoyed that.
I might actually use that with your permission. I might use that as like a little YouTube short,
Yeah,
like a
sure.
defending or preventing preventing attack into hairpins or something along those lines.
Yeah, that's great. That's helpful to me because, not having the experience of running go-karts, and it's also in real life. I think I have a better sense of where a car is,
Yeah.
and then you got the net code question, and then I'm always thinking, oh God, I don't want to get 4x for somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And you've always got to take that into account. So this is why I wouldn't advocate doing this quite to the extent that the Rosberg example was.
Yeah,
or like you might do in a go-kart in real life, because you've got such good, 360 vision in a real vehicle, most vehicles. You can look, you can see.
Yeah.
In this, you can't really see. I mean, if you've got VR, you've got a decent chance. But even with triple screens, I'm looking across like I'm going to have to leave like a bit of margin because I don't know exactly where he is. And even if my spotter's saying that we're okay, you might be wandering slightly closer to me, and I don't know, I don't realise it. So you've got to give a bit of margin. I just think you were giving an extremely kind amount of margin each time, and making my life too easy in those situations. So,
well, that was really helpful because at least at this track, I was as fast as anybody, just about. I mean, maybe the superhuman was, like 0.8 of a second faster than me, but I was as fast as the whole group, right? Even guys that were at 4,000, 5,000.
Yeah.
But my racecraft wasn't good enough to support it, right?
Yeah.
I had some bad luck too. but
yeah, and like I say, you can't account for someone T-boning you at the hairpin, but there might have been other situations that you didn't need to be in. If you're quicker than someone, but they get past you, and then it's kind of just messy when it doesn't need to be. Whereas you could have potentially blocked off. I'm not saying it happened, but maybe someone did what I did in this session to you, and if they hadn't got through, you'd have just scampered off in the next few corners and be gone. Because once you get through the next ones, it's easier for the
This
defender.
exact same thing happened actually. Okay. I don't have a video of it, but I started P4, it was a single split, so the guys there were really fast.
Yeah.
Started P4, P3 went out at the start, so I was running P3, and the guy behind me took me on this exactly in the spot. I did exactly wrong what I've done here, and he came out and did exactly what you're doing right now.
Okay, well, it was good then. It was useful.
Yeah.
I'm pleased. And
it's
quite nice for me to get to do a bit more driving as well. So that was cool.
Cool.
Thanks, Robert.
I don't know if we don't have another date.
No, but I think you've got 4 more sessions though.
Yeah, that's right.
In the kitty. So, would you like to look at another date now?
Sure.
Just let me know when works for you, and I'll bring up the booking system.
I don't know what your holiday schedule's like.